So if you're a golfer who can't get enough time to practice and even not have enough time to warm up before your rounds of golf, I'm going to show you in this video how to still shoot respectable golf scores for your ability level without having that time commitment of practice. So there are some key elements you need to focus on to manage your game out in the golf course. But if you adhere to these, you are going to be playing some much better golf without having that practice time. So guys, let's get straight into it. So this is my 9 holes here. So this is no practice and no warm up. The first tee time of the day and a really cold day as well. This was around 3 degrees Celsius when teeing off here early in the morning. So this is exactly how I'm managing my game to be able to still shoot a respectable score for me as a professional golfer, but you can apply these keys to change that for yourself. So, okay, so this is first hole, is around 165 yards, really cold in the day in the morning, so I'm hitting 7-9. And what I did here, I put the ball back in my stance to guarantee a good strike and guarantee that little draw shape you see there. So that's where, if I had that ball in a normal ball position, I could have easily pulled it, because if early on in the day, no warm-up, no practice, my body won't be moving well, so then I'm taking out that bad shot that could happen by just putting the ball back in the stance. So changing ball position to help yourself. So here, just around 20 foot or so, so I was quite happy with this shot. So of course, I haven't had a practice putt either. So this is the bit that could trip you up more. I would always recommend to have a practice putt, but luckily I got the pace fairly okay there, just a little bit of a pull. Now, so nice easy par to start off the day, but really made it so I could guarantee what was going to happen, or guarantee to some degree what was going to happen on that hole with where I placed that ball position. So second hole here, par 4, pretty much dead straight down there. There's out of bounds on the right and trees on the left. So this course here is Ardere Golf Club in North Ayrshire, Scotland. This is my most local golf club. Really tight golf course. You have to place the ball nicely off the tee. So for no warm-up and no practice leading up to this, really tough test. So for me here, I'm aiming a little bit up the left. So left side of centre of the fairway, because I would naturally fade my drive. And I wanted to give myself enough room to where if I over-faded it on the right, I would still be fine. Enough room where even if I pulled it left, I'll be fine. So absolutely over-faded it, maybe a little push fade there. But again, I gave myself enough room on the right to where I was absolutely fine and not quite out of bounds. As you can see, I'm quite close to it. But again, we know the body isn't going to be moving well if we haven't practiced or warmed up, and we need to really get there. And I know for me, with irons, it'll be a pull shot. With driver, it will be most likely a push shot. So here we go, a little wedge into the green here. So this is just a 50-degree wedge. And well, we've got the flag there, and ultimately can't really miss long and left here. But for me, being having a lack of warm-up, that could absolutely be a result that could happen there, is pulling the golf ball. So with a wedge, you just really want to hit a good shot, and I do pull it. So I've gone long and left where you don't want to go. But here's a really important thing. When we've had no warm-up and no practice, I can't get down on myself for missing it in the worst place because I haven't prepared. So here we go. So this is downhill all the way to the green. And again, with no chipping warm-up either, I'm not really too sure about what this is going to do. So that's where ball was sitting down a little bit. I land it right on my spot, but the ball just keeps on rolling. So again, this is going to be more mental game than anything here. Don't get too down on yourself if you haven't warmed up and you haven't practiced. Just take it on the chin when you hit a shot that's not ideal. Nothing worse than a golfer who's getting so annoyed with their round when they haven't even done anything to prepare. You can't get annoyed. You're not allowed. So here's just another straightforward putt, straight back up the hill, a little bit right to left, and I overread and push it a little bit. Miss it, so there's a bogey to start off with. So again, not ideal of a start, but we can't be annoyed. Have to be very stoic when you're going and playing, regardless anyway. But when you've had no warm-up and no practice, you have to take it on the chin. So this is a drivable par 4, this hole. So that's where the trouble is equal all the way up. This hole, the width is the exact same, out of bounds on the right, trees on the left again. So there's no point for me to hit iron. I want to hit the club that's going to go the furthest up there. Takes a bunker up on the left out of play as well. So I'm aiming down the left, know the ball's going to fade because of my lack of warm-up. That's what it does with my game. So this is one really important key. Play your shot. Don't try and play anything different than your shot, which for me is that natural little fade. And being cold in the day, it didn't quite get all the way up to the green, which is around 280 yards, uphill as well. So even with a bad shot, that would have still, let's say if I overfaded it, I still would have had an absolutely fine shot. If I pulled it, I still would have been fine also. So hitting driver for most of the time is the good shot to play if you've got the same width going all the way up the hole. So just a straightforward pitch here, around 20 or so yards. Get a pitch down on my spot, and it didn't run up enough again because of a lack of short game practice. But we can see, again, fairly similar length putt, a little bit uphill, right to left, just trying to put a good stroke on it, and my putting stroke is not the best as you can see at the moment, pulling it on the inside on the way back, but still managed to match up that face there and get the birdie, so get the shot back. So okay, we're going now on to another tight par 4. So this one here, there is a little bit of a trouble up around 260 yards, which is about where I would fly my driver to. So just on the left, a little hedge that comes out. So I'm going to lay up short of that, because the whole fairway slopes from right to left. So I'm hitting my driving iron here, and which is a brilliant club for being in Scotland. And I'm just going to drill one there down the right, and this would normally draw this club. So because the ball is normally that tiny bit back, that's going to make you draw it a little bit from hitting it on the inside. So, okay, nice one up there. Again, playing the shot I know that it's most likely going to happen. Again, even though I know that shot's going to happen, there's still the chance it won't. And if that doesn't happen, don't pull off the shot. Don't get annoyed. You know, you haven't warmed up. But anyway, don't get annoyed regardless. At any time, you can hit a really poor shot. So there we go. 6-iron into the green from here. So I really had to lay back. Ball above the feet, aiming right to accompany for that upward slope, which is going to draw the ball, and I hit this a little bit off the toe. So it lands a tiny bit short and bounces into the left bunker, which is a treat because I have not practiced bunkers for a good minute. So, okay. So this is actually a fairly long bunker shot, this one. So it's a lot longer than it looks here on camera. So I got out my 54 degree and just tried to play a standard splash bunker shot, which I was actually, as we can see, I was quite happy with it. It just, again, didn't roll as much as it could have done. So this is going to be one thing that you're all going to see throughout this round is even if you haven't had enough time to warm up with your swing before you go and play, if you can get some time to warm up with your chipping and putting, absolutely try and do that, because that's going to make a huge difference here. As we're going to see here, I've still left myself way too long for a par. And that's not the situation we generally want to be in, because we can manage ourselves if we haven't warmed up with our full swing, if we know our pattern. But it's hard to do that and judge the right pace of the greens when you're chipping and pitching and hitting bunker shots. So again there, another bogey. Can't get annoyed. It's just one of those things. So not necessarily played the hole poorly at all. Just need to get that working of getting used to the speed of the greens. So okay, par 5 here. This fairway really slopes from left to right down. So for my fade shot, this is actually quite a tough one. So I would normally aim quite a bit left. There's a little hedge just in front of the tee, which I would aim over and let the ball fade back. I quite often straight pull it off this hole for some reason. One of those holes where it just doesn't suit my eye. And again, give myself plenty of room onto the right. And it does start a little bit more right than I wanted. But again, no harm. I gave myself enough to miss on that side I know I'd probably miss on. That is so important. And then make sure you're still committing to it. Don't be tentative. You have to be aggressive when you're playing off the tee. If you're being tentative, you are going to most likely hit a poor shot. So I've got around here, around 240 into the green. So this is where it all slopes downhill approaching the green. I've got a nice little 4-iron hybrid that I really, really like here. So I'm just using this. And this is where, if I hit a nice shot, I could give myself a really good eagle opportunity. But because I haven't practiced and I haven't warmed up, my body still isn't prepared. And I hit kind of like this dead straight pull, which gets me in a little bit of a spot of bother here. So that's where, as you can see here, I'm quite a far way off the mark. I was almost in the bushes there, which really surprised me. It must have taken a big kick off the mound, as that club would normally fly around 210. And it most likely did that and just kept on running. So a little bit of a mental error with club selection as well. It brought a lot of danger into play. So in this one, this chip shot, going up the hill and then straight back down the hill again, as you can see, did not judge it. So what is a little bit of a thing to focus on is really making sure short game's in a good spot. So again, if you can warm up with short game, definitely do so. So here we go. Uphill, left to right birdie putt here. So this is where I want to get that one back. That was a good putting stroke on that one and just didn't hit it. So I left it just in the jaws. And then a little tap in for par. So quite disappointing there really for myself. But again, start again. So the next hole is dead straight down there. Can't miss left, can't miss right. And this is one of the most important holes from today in what we're learning here is you are going to hit bad shots. It is regardless, even if you have practice and warm up, of course, you're going to hit bad shots, but you might hit some real bad ones like this drive here. So my bad tendency is to have too much right side bend in the downswing, and that opens up the face, makes path go more to the right and can result in a big right shot or a snap to the left. And that big right shot came up, but I can't be annoyed. I haven't practiced. So that is where, accept it. Luckily, the ball was absolutely fine. I have the tendency of whenever I hit a ball offline, that ball's automatically gone. I've had that throughout my whole golfing life, amateur career, professional career, and even my coaching career. It still happens. But this one, definitely, well, got very lucky. So I have to hit a high draw with an 8-iron over this tree. And I do that somehow really nicely to where it also hits the green. So I got extremely fortunate there, but I could have made that situation way worse if I got down on myself, let's say slammed a club on the ground, which do not do. Respect the golf course, please. And absolutely. So I got a long putt here. And again, this is a sign right here of no putting practice to warm up. Don't have to speed the greens uphill. This is where the dew started to really settle on the green there. Just got to that time of the morning. And I missed it way short. Was not happy with that at all. So now I have just invited a bogey into it. But in my mind, I was thinking I hit such a bad tee shot that I'm kind of asking for a bogey anyway. So maybe that was a little bit of a poor outlook on that. Kind of invited a bogey into happening because I talked it into the universe. But ultimately, there we go. I see a little bit of frustration there. The ball didn't curve back like I thought it would with the break. So we go 2 over now. So at this point, for my standard of golf that I expect to see, I'm not happy. So 2 over. Again, for me, if I haven't been practicing, I still want to be shooting around level par. So let's see how I do coming in here. So par 5, good to get one back. Driver, you can miss it either side. You can't really miss it as much right, but I'm going to aim down the left and hit that same pill shot. So that is such a huge key, as you know from today, is hit your shot. If it's a huge banana curve, you know, a high handicap, play it. If it's a slinging draw, play it. Don't try and fight it. You'll see that with the best players in the world. They're not trying to shape it all around the course. They're playing their shot all the time. That's so important if you haven't been practicing or warming up. Absolutely play your shot. So I've got around 210 into this green here, so par 5, as we said. Now, again, go straight downhill, really narrow green. Bunker on the left, the next tee for the other hole on the right. Luckily, there's no one else on the golf course at the moment because of the first tee time. So what I'm hitting here is kind of like a little stinger with a 4-iron because that's what I felt comfortable hitting. I didn't want to hit it full because I just didn't feel like I'd hit a good shot. So again, I play the shot I knew I could play, just like the one on the first tee. Very similar. Back in the stance, little stingery one. I knew it was going to draw. Draw maybe a little bit too much, but still a good shot, to be honest. And just in this bunker here. So short-sided in this bunker here. And it almost goes in. So I was very happy with that. I was kind of low-key a little bit annoyed because I thought I could have really done with an eagle there. But here we go, just nice short birdie putt. Wanted to put a good stroke on it and straight in the middle, got that one back. Okay, so again, I'm keeping myself in the moment. I'm not getting ahead of myself. I'm not letting the emotions get in the way, as that's something I think most golfers do. They'll let their emotions get in the way and they can't think clearly. Now we've got par 3 here, around 145. Again, because of how cold it is, I'm not warmed up. I'm going to hit like a little 8-iron. Now, 8-iron normally around 160 yards, but I'd rather golfers take, let's say, yardage off their clubs rather than add more onto. And I hit just a disgusting shot. So this was actually hit off the toe and it did that shape as well. So it tells you how bad of a swing that was. So again, bad's all relative, as we know. A bad shot for me won't be a bad shot for a higher handicap. So that's where it still got into a good spot. Just as well, I kind of hit it bad because I think I would have gone way over the back if I hit it well. Just a nice straightforward little pitch shot, which was good. And I really fancied making this as well because something that I don't recommend for players to do, I was kind of almost like pushing to get back to level par here, where that can quite often go wrong to get back to, let's say, a score that you would want to get to, because you end up, of course, pushing for it, you make bad decisions, not ideal. So don't do that, but that's kind of what I'm doing here almost. So this one, really tight, 9th hole, trees on the left, out of bounds on the right. You don't want to go long with driver because you go in the trees. So I hit, again, a 2-iron, and I hit a very uncharacteristic shot. I aimed right-hand side to play the draw. That will happen from being back in the stance, and I left it open, hit the right side of the fairway, and trickled down to here. So again, got very, very lucky. Again, I don't normally get this luck. So, but I only have around, I reckon it was around 80 odd so yards. So I'm just hitting a little, tiny little bump up there with a sand wedge. I didn't want to hit it too high. I wanted to just keep it nice and low and do that with the loft of the club rather than me trying to manipulate it. And I hit this a really good one up to a few foot there. So keys here, guys. Make sure you are playing your game. And 2, make sure you are keeping your expectation levels at bay. If you hit a bad shot, that's fine. So that's how I can go and play scratch golf without any warm-up and practice.